All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome back to Two in the Zone. You have the one, the only, the GOAT, Dead Prez Picks. What's up, Dead? How are you?
What's up, brother? Happy it's Friday. How are you?
Super happy it's Friday. I'm happy also just because my bets are hitting again. So
There
it
you
feels
go.
good to start winning. Again, thank you guys for jumping on. This is Two in the Zone, Two in the Zone. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We get through our basketball picks. We kind of, analyze and preview the picks every day. And then we're actually going to do an NFL show later today as well with our buddy Joe's picks. So look forward to that. Before we get into last night's slate, let me go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Seven Stack Sports, right there on the page. Give them a follow at Seven Stack Sports on Twitter. They are the best Twitter book, not even close, second to none. They do same day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency. They do reduced juice lines if you are, doing NBA picks. We'll see if we can get that with NHL as well as baseball coming up as well. Because I mean, he's always going to be accommodating for us and for our followers. So give him a follow. If you sign up with him now, let myself and Dead know, and we'll hook you up with this weekend free picks. So anything you want to add there, Dead?
No, you hit most of it, man. Yep, best sports book on Twitter. Give him a follow. Give him a DM. We had a lot of people signing up this week as well. And like you said, I'm excited to get into it later today with Joe's picks as well. He's been doing an outstanding job the last couple of weeks. So excited to pick his brain a little bit. And let's get into the NBA for tonight, man. So last night, I don't know, how did your bets go last night in the NBA?
NBA went well. We were just on the crap. I just lost my train of thought. So Marcus Morris rebounds and assists, a very interesting prop. But I knew against Anthony Davis he was going to get over 30 minutes, so it was only 6.5. So that he got that really easily. And then the other one we had was the Hawks. You and I were both on the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks, yeah.
Not only did they cover, but they won outright against the best team in the NBA in the Suns. So I guess we could talk about that game first, man. Really clutch shooting, right? Trey at the end. But that's a really impressive win. You called it, Dead. That MLK win, the come from behind win they had against Milwaukee. The Hawks have been kind of rolling since then.
Yeah, man. I mean, they've been on fire since that moment in the season. They're too good, AC, not to get going, right? They have too many players, especially Trey Young, who was struggling a little bit, I'd say, at the beginning of the year to get going. But, I mean, he's been lights out the last month, especially in the month of January. The line was just so off last night. And like I always say, I hate fading the Suns, right? But I like fading them in that spot. So we got a good spot there for the Hawks last night. Great shooting. I mean, the Suns made some runs in that fourth quarter. They looked like they might get back into the game, but every time they did, the Hawks had an answer.
All right, I guess let's stay with this game. So I know the All-Star teams were just revealed, right? So we know Trey Young is a starter, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, KD, and Giannis. KD most likely out because he's injured, so there'll be a replacement player. But just going down the list here on the East, Dead, let me know if there's any snubs or any surprises. So Darius Garland, I think he's super deserving. The Cleveland Cavaliers are a top 5 team in the East, and he's the best player. James Harden, Zach LaVine, Fred VanVleet, first All-Star appearance for him. Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton, and Jason Tatum. Any surprises or snubs in your
I'm
opinion?
going to make my case for 2 Hornets, okay? I'm going to say Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball have a really good case. Bridges in particular, I thought was a little surprising because of, I mean, he's averaging about 20 a game, right? 7 rebounds a game. So he ranks top 25 in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I understand him not being in. Ball really surprised me. Ball also surprised me because is it still fan vote? I don't even know how they vote anymore.
I think it's like half fans, and then the other half is like coaches and staff.
Yeah, you would think he would just be, because he's LaMelo Ball. Like he's
Agreed.
the up and coming.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised not to see Ball's name on there from the East. No one really shocked me. James Harden to me is a debate because I think it's like, how All-Star games go. A lot of guys make it off their name. But he's having his worst shooting season ever from 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Percentage-wise. Second worst shooting period this season. So those 2 surprised me a bit. But, at the end of the day, James Harden's obviously still deserving. But I would have liked to see LaMelo or Bridges get in this season. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's one or the other. I don't know if both of them would have gotten in, but I personally I think Miles Bridges is better. He's also the most improved player, most likely. He's running away with that award. But could you imagine LaMelo in an all-star setting? Like that's what the game is all about. It's not like a
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
not
mean.
a real game. It's just an exhibition. So to have like the best, potentially the best exhibition player there is out there, just it would have been really cool to see him kind of like show out and throw alley oops to
Right.
a bunch of people, Giannis and stuff like that. On the West, okay, so we have I think the five or the four really makes sense. Andrew Wiggins is kind of the surprise there, but we have Steph Curry, Ja Morant, Nikola Jokic, and LeBron. Wiggins again is the fifth starter, and then you have on the reserves you have Devin Booker, Luca, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Rudy Gobert, Carl Anthony Towns, and Draymond Green. I'll start first. I'm surprised Draymond's in there. I know the Warriors are the second best team. They deserve to have maybe two, maybe three. I don't know, but to have Curry, Wiggins, and Draymond's been out for like a few weeks now, so I feel like that was kind of a stretch there. Same with Rudy Gobert. I mean, I guess because he's a defensive monster, but I mean, to have him in the All-Star game, like, I think you and I agree, we rather have DeJounte Murray. Is there any other
Yeah.
surprises or snubs that you can
No,
think of?
Dejounte was really surprising for me. Was there any T Wolves in? Did we get
Carl
any?
Anthony Towns.
So yeah, so we didn't get Edwards, which I understand. He's still young, but I would have liked to see. I'm with you. Like I want to see fun players in the All Star game.
Yeah,
Like
Rudy Gobert, that does nothing.
that's what I mean. Like what's he gonna? You don't block shots in an All Star game, right?
No,
Like,
and
defense.
if you do, you're gonna get booed.
Yeah. So like, what's his point in being in an All Star game? I understand at the end of the day. I was kind of joking about Gobert, but I would have liked to see. Sorry, my microphone's so far away. I would have liked to see Dejounte get in specifically because he's
Would've been
having a hell
fun.
of a year.
Yeah.
See, I think sometimes they hold your team against you, and I don't think that's cool. Like, I think you just take the best players. I don't know. I would like to see more electric players. Anthony Edwards, great personality. He's a fun player to watch. He would have been a guy I'd like to see in. But all in all, you know what? Everyone in the game at the end of the day is deserving. But get Rudy Gobert
Yeah.
out of there.
Yeah, true. And another point that we want to make is a lot of these guys are going to opt out of the All-Star game,
Right.
just because of the state of, health, their injuries, stuff like that. And so a lot of the guys that are quote unquote snubs are going to get in. Like Tyler Hero probably will get in.
Yeah.
Maybe LaMelo, maybe Miles Bridges, maybe DeJounte. So all these guys that are fringe players, they're most likely going to get in.
Gonna get in.
I think Anthony Edwards for sure is
Yeah,
the
Edwards. That's what I mean when I was saying. I was like, wait, I just realized like he hadn't gotten in. But I don't know. I mean, you can make a case for him for sure.
Yeah. All right, one more game from last night. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Was that last LA game? So it's Clippers, Lakers, and went back and forth. Finally, a good game in the NBA on national TV. It's been kind of blowouts, but we had two good games last
Pretty good
night.
last night. Yeah.
Yeah, two good games, the Hawks game and then this game. Any thoughts on this one? I had no action on it. I probably would have live bet the Lakers, to be honest. So I'm fortunate I fell asleep.
This was my sole NBA loss of the night. Clippers -3, and it hurt because they had a 16-point lead AC with 30 seconds in the third. So the Lakers closed on a little 4-hour run, and I always hate that because you get that little momentum. You know, people watching games. I always say this: as someone who gambles watches a game so different than like a
Oh
casual
yeah.
fan, because like you'll be sitting with someone like, oh, what are you worried about? They're up 14, but that 4-hour run, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it completely flips it. Like the last 20 seconds of the first quarter, first half, third quarter, like it means so
they're so
much. I
key.
agree.
They're so
Yeah.
key. So like any game I watch, NBA, college, that those last few seconds. So I kind of thought going into the quarter, all right. And then listen, Tyler's done a great job because he's done more with less, right? They don't have George this year for the majority of the year. Kawhi obviously out. Marcus Morris has been out a lot. They just haven't been healthy, right? So I give him a ton of credit, but he puts out a lineup the first 4 to 5 minutes of the fourth that just had zero scoring on it outside of Luke Kennard. And Luke Kennard's not a guy who can create off the bounce, right? So he's a spot up shooter for the most part. They just had a lineup and they went ice cold. I think they scored 2 points in the first 6.5 minutes of the fourth.
Ooh.
So I mean, they put themselves in a bad position. Overall, if you were just like a fan of the game, if you had the Clippers money line, that was a good win. Reggie Jackson really stepped up late. Marcus Morris hit a big three. they stepped up. I give the Lakers credit though for fighting back in this game. Anthony Davis is starting to look like he should look.
Yeah.
Since he's returned, maybe he's a little more motivated in this spot. But you know what killed me, AC, was that the Clippers led by 7 with like 2.5. Russell Westbrook hits the 3. And as I'm watching right there, and I'm like, please Russ shoot, because they're playing off, right, like they normally do. Praying he shoots, nothing but net. So a little bit of a killer there for me in that.
If you lose because of Russell Westbrook 3-pointer, that's a bad beat.
Yeah,
That's a bad beat.
You just take the night off. And the
Yeah.
other one who hit, the one with the first thing was Trevor Ariza to get them back in. So I'm like,
I didn't even know he was playing.
How is this guy stepping up and hitting threes? But nonetheless, we move on into tonight.
All right, let's get into tonight's slate, buddy.
Alrighty, let's do it. The Cavs and the Hornets. Shout out our boy Grant Albert. He actually just dropped a question about this game. He said, anyway, you see Mobley and Allen getting it done in Charlotte tonight. Hornets seem to play their best ball at home. 15-7 against the spread on home court, and they score pretty efficiently. I like the 4.5. What's your thoughts? Well, again, thank you, Grant, for always tuning in. I'm with you here, man. I think it's a Hornets play all the way. The line's actually shifted to 5 in most places. I tried to lock it in this morning at 4. Look, I mean, I just think that this team has too much offense to keep up or to put up against the Cavs in this game. We know Darius Garland, right? He has been out. Markkanen's been out. Those are 2 big guys. I just don't know if they can get past if they don't have those guys tonight. Gordon Hayward, obviously, his absence, or he's been absent. That could be impactful. I don't know his official status, and I don't know Garland's official status in this game. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. So we have 2 pretty good teams against the spread, right? The Cavs are 31-19-2. Charlotte's 31-21. Like you said, they're 15-7 against the spread at home, which is pretty elite, to be honest. Yes. But the missing of Darius Garland and Larry Markkanen is just going to be too much offensively. I don't think Cleveland can catch up and hang with Charlotte today. I think that -5, -5.5 is still a pretty good number, and I actually lean Cleveland team total under. I think it's going to be one of those games where Charlotte just blows them out, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Charlotte here a lot. I mean, as this number, as this number continues to move, moving more towards thinking Charlotte first half, but I think the full game is a good look as well. So I'm all over the Hornets with you tonight. The Celtics and the Pistons tonight. Celtics 9.5 road point favorites. I don't like that number. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean they are rolling. They've won 3 straight games. They've covered 2 of those 3 as big favorites, but I'm telling you, the Celtics are very, very similar to the Sixers and the Mavs, which we'll get into later, but they don't really cover big spreads often. And I know this is kind of an overreaction with Boston because they've won the last 3 games. Detroit's lost the last 2, so kind of going in opposite directions. But I would say Detroit is playing a lot better. I don't know if Cade is going tonight. He was a late scratch last night. Hoping he goes tonight. If he does, I think it is a Pistons play, to be honest. But as of right now, Dad, it's a layoff for me.
Yeah, if Cade goes, I'm in the same mindset as you here. So yeah, I think that if they're getting 9.5 points here with Cade, I would take the Pistons in this spot. No Cade, I'm not going anywhere near this game because they just simply don't have enough scoring. All right, Bulls and Pacers. Bulls is a 2.5 point road favorite in this one. Give me your thoughts on this game.
This one's tough. There's nobody playing for the Pacers, as we know. Sabonis, Brogdon, Turner. TJ Warren's been out all year. TJ McConnell's still out. Isaiah Jackson, their power forward that no one really talks about, is out as well. So there's really nobody on Indiana. But I would say this: their second string and third string guys play really hard, and they've actually been covering at a better rate than the starters. So I would be erring on the side of caution there. I don't think it's an easy Bulls play. I think that line is telling me Zach LaVine isn't going to go tonight. I mean, Bulls only -2. They are first place in the East, and they're playing against a really bad Pacers team, and they're only favored by 2. It makes me like the Pacers. They are the contrarian bet tonight, but I don't know, Dad. Like for me, low volume's been working really well to me. This is like a fringe play, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough for me to make it an official play.
Right. I think there's no doubt as far as the line's concerned that it's the Pacers. Something that when we had our man Jay Money come on the show, he made a really good point about the Toronto quarantine, right? Like how that goes down. So last night the Bulls they're on a back-to-back, right? They
Mhm.
had that whole experience, and the game went to overtime. So
Mhm.
their starters are very taxed from that win last night. I think it's
And
a
the
tough spot.
and they were covering all game until overtime. It was a
It's
bad
hard.
beat for Bulls
Yeah.
betters last night.
Yeah, so I think it's a tough spot, right? I mean, the issue for the Pacers is like you said, who's gonna play? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if the line says the Pacers. I don't know if I'll be able to get there with them, but maybe I don't know. Hawks and Raptors tonight. These two teams just played last week. I was on the Raptors in Atlanta. They got it done. Now we flip here to Toronto. So Toronto on a back to back, but a home back to back. Atlanta has to travel into the six tonight to take them on.
Mhm.
Coming off a really good win last night against the Suns. This looks like a tough spot for the Hawks, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, all
It
things considered.
does. It
But these
does.
teams just played it. The only team who's beat them since that MLK Day win is the Raptors. Raptors 3.5 tonight. Danilo Gallinari out for this game as well. Just got that news in. So, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, the Hawks are flying high. They've won 8 out of the last 9 games, like we alluded to earlier. But this is a really tough road game to go into Toronto to face, quarantine and all that kind of stuff. There's no fans in Toronto, so I know it's a weird situation. And Toronto, on the other hand, is also hot themselves. They've won the last 4 in a row. They're covering really really well. I think they're 12-2, maybe 12-1 against the spread at home in their last 13, 14 games. So everybody knows now Toronto is a big home court advantage right now. So I don't know if I'm willing to go Hawks here. I think the play would be Toronto, but I think there's going to be some late scratches in this game because both of them did go last night. Both of them did play in really tough, taxing games. So I wouldn't be surprised if Collins is out. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the Raptors players, whether it's Van Fleet or someone that's a late scratch. So I'm gonna lay off this one. I think the line to me says Raptors, but it's a layoff.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think Lions and Raptors. I don't like betting on teams back to back. Period. They're both on the back to back.
Hmm.
There's a lot of questions about the Raptors having to go to an overtime game, play a tough game. If you like the Raptors again, I'd advise maybe going first half because the legs could tire out. The only reason I say that more at the Raptors is the Hawks had a little bit of an easier win. I know it was fault till the end, but those 5 extra minutes, like when the Sixers played the Wizards a couple nights ago, you could see it show up, especially in that first quarter, first half. Like it takes some time to get back in. So I think if you like them, go first half. But all in all, I'm going to probably stay away from this game tonight, but it should be a good one. Rockets and Spurs. You and I were kind of chatting about this one earlier.
Yeah.
We both think that this is a Spurs blowout spot in this game. Spurs, again, DeJounte Murray was out, but we expect him to be in tonight. They're on a back to back, but they didn't really play normal back to back because they got beat so bad. I think a lot of their guys were able to kind of rest up for this game tonight. Crazy thing with the Spurs, AC, is that they are at only 2 games out of a play-in. So I think
Mm.
a lot of people are like, "Ah, the Spurs season's over." Well, it's very much alive, right? As far as that play-in spot is concerned. What do you think about them tonight at home?
Yeah, I think this potentially is going to be the most or maybe the second most public play of the night, but I don't care. I think the Spurs just blow out the Rockets. They were kind of covering Miami for a big portion of that until Tyler Hero went off last night. So I do like the Spurs to come back. I also like a spot here for Dejounte Murray. We kind of mentioned it earlier. He was snubbed from the All Star game. He most likely will still get in with all the injuries as a replacement. But I think he's going to go off tonight, motivated. And this is kind of a rubber match, right? Houston, San Antonio. The series is tied 1-1 so far this season. I think San Antonio at home gets it done today. That 5 number is a little soft. I think they win by double digits.
I'm with you because I think also the Rockets beat them the last time they played, right? I think that in that game, it was just a mental lapse from the Spurs. They're a much better team than the Rockets are. If you watch this Rockets team, although you and I backed them on the last show against the Cavs, and that worked out. So right now, I'm a fan of the Rockets, but all in all, man,
Mhm.
I mean, there's not very good at basketball. I think it's a blowout spot. Like you said with DeJounte, I remember the 1 year D-Book got snubbed. I think, again, he got in ultimately because of that. But that game after, right, he goes off. So it's a real thing for these guys mentally. I mean, they
Oh, for
feel
sure. Especially the young guys, man, because
yeah,
they made it before. So
yeah.
they wanna feel
It
validated.
means a lot to them. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great point about DeJounte going off. All right, before we get into these final 4 games tonight, AC, let's give a shout out to the best sports book on Twitter at 7stacks Sports. Sign up with them this weekend. We have a huge promotion coming in that we're going to get to later on our show, our NFL show that we're doing with Joe's Picks today. I believe we're going to shoot for 5 Eastern time, and that's a little bit crazy for everyone on the weekend. So make sure you tune in. Again, you can play these back all day on Twitter, but give them a follow, DM them to get signed up. Use our promo code that is in the description for a 200% free play bonus. All right, 4 games to go. The Nets and the Jazz. Utah is kind of, like I said, it's a weird year because Utah's been the team who stayed healthy, right? They haven't really had to deal with injuries over the last few years, regular season wise. Now, Donovan Mitchell back tonight, which is key, right? I believe Rudy's still out. And then we obviously know, unfortunately, that Joe Ingles' season ended. Whiteside has been out of line. That's big because, then they had Azubuike starting at the center spot. Great player at Kansas, but he's a third-string center in the NBA. That's a big gap. And Jordan Clarkson missed the last game. So a lot of moving pieces here for the Jazz. But what's your thoughts tonight against the Nets? They are -3.5 at home.
Yeah, this to me is a Nets screamer. I don't know if I'm gonna be willing to do it. The Nets are on a 6-game losing streak. Actually, both of these teams are playing horribly. I think in their last 6 games, they're both either 0-6 or 1-5. So the Jazz have been sliding. The Nets obviously are sliding, and everyone's kind of talking about like Harden. Does he want to stay in Brooklyn? Obviously, the whole Kyrie thing. He can only play on the road. The line here is a Brooklyn read, right? Donovan Mitchell is returning tonight from concussion protocol. So he was like out for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 games with that concussion. So the fact that he's back tonight, I think he's going to be moving a little slow. I feel like it's going to take at least a half for him to adjust and get back to game speed. I think the Nets are really motivated today. I think it's all negative news right now against the Nets because of that 6-game slide and a really bad loss against the Kings last time out. So I think the Nets get it done. You and I both think they are a better road team just because they have Kyrie anyways. Yeah. And I mean, if you look at their stats for the season, Brooklyn is 17-8 straight up on the road. So in 25 road games, they have a better road record than a home record. So I do like the Nets as a value play tonight. If I were to play them, it would be on the money line and get that plus money.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the line here, you're right about a lot of that stuff. I don't think I can back the Jazz until I kind of see Mitchell get back in a rhythm. It's a tough spot, right, to stick him right back in. And the Nets are still the Nets. Issue for the Nets, and I was having this discussion last night with some of my buddies, like, what is their ceiling even when KD's healthy? Because that bench is so brutal. And we see in playoffs specifically, you need to have guys who fit their roles like the Suns do, right? Like the Bucks, they're role players. Bobby Portis, they step up, right? They answer that call. Nets have to figure that out as the season goes along. It's tough because they haven't really been able to get all 3 together.
I don't think they will, man.
I don't think
they
so
will. Yeah.
I don't think so either. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, James Harden sounds like he wants out, right? There's a lot of rumors with him coming here to Philly next year with a buyout or trade and sign with Simmons. We'll have to see, how all that goes down. But it just doesn't seem like a good situation for the Nets, and that would be really surprising because when you paired up those 3, you thought at least one.
At least one. At least one, right?
But time will tell on that. All right, Pels and Nuggets here. I'm on the Nuggets team total win over AC, so I need them to start getting a little hot. They're paced a little bit under right now. They've had to deal with some tough injuries, but here's a spot that they have to win, right?
Oh, they'll win. They'll win tonight.
Against the Pels. Do you think they cover the 6? I know we both think they'll win, but do they cover?
Yeah, the cover is tough. The cover, that number is a little fishy. The Pelicans are not a good team. They're on the road against a really bad place to play against, right? Like you have to travel mile high in Denver. So a lot of players don't really adjust to the altitude, especially if you're just flying in and flying out. The spot here is the Nuggets. They've lost the last 2, and the Pelicans have won. They beat I think the Pistons last time out. So the spot here is 100% the Nuggets. I think that -6 is a little kind of like a sucker bet. It makes you want to take the Nuggets because it seems a little easy. I probably wouldn't do it. I would probably live bet them. I do see a point in this game where they're down, or maybe it's tied at halftime, and then I would fire and get a better number on the Nuggets. But I do think they win.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a good. I think maybe they're like a parlay piece, right? But I don't
Yeah.
think as far as taking their spread here is a great move. 28 and 23, they've been doing good. I don't know, maybe if they could get like Jamal back later in the year. I don't know if that's still in the talks. I was listening to them last night that they were kind of optimistic they might be able to get him back. They're a good team, but like they just need. It's a shame for them, right? Because of Michael Porter Jr. That was a big loss that they had
Yeah.
to take during the season. But I mean, they're right in it. When you have Jokic playing as well as he has, that's going to keep you in it. All right, the Thunder and the Blazers. We're going to get to our big game last year, AC. So Blazers Thunder. Is it a first quarter Blazers play again? Because we did this last time these two teams played, right?
Yep.
Do you
One of
think
the worst first quarter, if not the worst first quarter teams in the NBA and the Thunder.
right? And
Yeah.
then the Blazers are like weirdly kind of good in the first quarter, and then they just
Hmm.
stop the rest of the game. Thing with the Thunder too is they have won their last two games. That Blazers game when we took Blazers first quarter, Blazers won the first quarter by 12, but they lost the game by 17. I mean, the game wasn't even close. Like, imagine if you slept through that, you wake up and look at the score, you're like, fuck, my first quarter bet lost, and then you look and you're like, wait, it won by 12. Pretty ironic game there, but I mean, the Thunder feeling a little good here, right? Coming in with two in a row. Do they get it done tonight? They're an 8-point road dog here.
Yeah, so I made this comparison a couple weeks ago. The Thunder are the Lions of the NBA. They have the worst record in the NBA, or one of the worst, but then have one of the best against the spread records. So the Thunder right now, they're sitting at 16 and 34, right, after 40 games, but they're 31, 17, and 2 against the spread, winning records at home, on the road. They're just a really good cover team. That number 8 is a lot for the Blazers to cover. That number tells me that the books expects the Blazers to blow out the Thunder, and I just don't see them doing it. I don't think they have enough defense to really shut out the Thunder, even without Shea. I think Giddy's going to be able to move around really well there in Portland, and then without Nasir Little, I think that's like less depth now for the Blazers. The line to me, Dead, is telling me the Blazers will blow out the Thunder. Like they're expecting like a
I
15,
can't.
20
I
point
can't do
game,
it.
just like a revenge game, right? Because the Thunder just beat them by 17. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I could back them, man. The Blazers are just so bad.
All right, Mavericks Sixers here. AC final play of the night. As we know, you're a Mavs fan. I'm a Sixers fan. But tonight we're in alignment on this game, I believe.
I'm surprised. I am surprised on
Yeah,
this.
I mean, it's regular season. I don't care that much about the regular season. I can bet against my teams. Playoffs.
Tell me why though. Tell me why you think it's a
I just
Maverick
think
spot.
I just think the line, right? If because with KP, he's been out, right?
Hmm.
Hardaway's been out. Like I think they're two of their top 4 or 5 players on the team. So I think the fact that we're still getting the Mavericks as a home favorite here is a little surprising to me. Sixers have been missing Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz, but he doesn't matter. He stinks. And then Seth Curry has been in and out. If Seth goes, it makes it scarier to me because this is a revenge game for Seth, right? He used to
Sure,
be,
yeah.
and the Sixers fleeced the Mavericks on
You
that.
killed us in that
Yeah,
trade. You
that,
killed
that,
us.
that
Yeah.
was, we could go to jail for that trade. But this is the thing with the Sixers is that they're, a weird team. I just know, watching them as a fan, they lost to the Wizards at home last game. They just play, they get in these little weird flows. The issue too with them is they pretty much it's been Embiid and Maxey all year, right?
Yeah.
I think if one's off tonight, and it's very possible that the game could get away from them. If I'm playing against Joel Embiid right now, I'm just triple teaming him, seriously, because the Sixers don't have great perimeter shooting. Maxey's a really good player, but he's not a great shooter.
Hmm.
Without Seth, Danny Green is inconsistent to say the
Danny
least.
Green is bad, guys. He's so washed. He is so washed.
Tobias cannot shoot. If I'm playing against, I just make them shoot from three, right? Collapse and Thibault can't shoot. They don't have a ton of shooting on this team. So I don't know. I mean, I think inside, I'm not going to dispute that. The Sixers have a massive advantage. But at the guard play tonight, that's a big advantage. And I don't know. I think Luka on the national stage just always steps up, and plays good ball.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna back the Mavericks tonight.
Okay. I would say this. So I agree with you. I am on Dallas today, but these two teams are almost identical. I know the best player on the Sixers is a center. The best player on the Mavs is a point guard. but it's really one superstar and then a bunch of underperforming,
Yeah.
role players that support them. The record is almost the same. Philly is 31-20. Mavs are 29-23. Against the spread, they're both 26-25. They both score about 107 a game. Philly gives up 105. Dallas gives up 103. Like, these teams are almost identical, and that's why you see the spread so small at -1.5, even -2 in some spots. But Ded made a good point. We're missing two of our top three scorers in Tim Hardaway and Kristaps Porzingis, and we're still favored. The Mavs are coming off a really bad loss to the OKC Thunder. They were 12-point favorites and lost outright in overtime. So that's two straight losses against two really bad teams, Magic and Thunder back to back. This is a huge bounce back spot for the Mavericks. And this is the first game on a pretty tough road trip for the Sixers coming up. So I do think this is a Mav spot. I don't know if that -2 is safe, man. I think I'm just gonna go money line -120
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks money line. That's gonna be my play today for this game. It's most likely gonna be an official play. But this is great analysis because you're talking to two guys who really follow their teams really closely. I think there could be a trade, whether it's the Sixers and someone else or the Mavs and someone else, but both of our teams dead. We need like a jolt of energy
Yeah.
because Embiid and Luca can only do so much, and they're balling. They're both putting up like 30-point triple doubles. Embiid's doing like 35, 15 every night, and they still like barely win. So I mean, they need help.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. As a Sixers fan, it's frustrating because they're right there, but now we can't deal Simmons. So it's a tough spot. I don't think either of them are title contenders right now, but I think they're both very good teams. At the end of the day, I think like you said, they both need help. Maybe more so. Honestly, I think the Mavericks have a better shot because of their path. I think
Yeah, the East is stronger than the
yeah,
West for sure.
overall, I think you got
Yeah.
the Suns and the Warriors, but I think the East is deeper. Maybe is the best way to put it. But
We
all
have a
right,
couple comments, Dad. Raptors Hawks. We already mentioned this. If we were to bet tonight, it would be a Raptors play for various reasons, right? They're both on a second night of a back to back. The Hawks are going to have to do some extra quarantining every time a team goes into Canada. They have to do some extra stuff, and the Raptors are, I believe, 12-1 against the spread at home in their last 13. So they've been on fire. It's just a really hard place to play without fans. So we do lean the Raptors there. Anything else? Any comments or
I think we hit.
before we close it? We
No,
have a comment from our boy Slam the Bookie. He says hello. So
there we
Slam,
go.
thank you. Yeah,
Everyone's on
Slam,
it,
thanks
bro.
for the support, man. Stay sharp, man. You're getting hot. I love it. No square nations over here.
All right, guys. Thank you again to Seven Stacks. Make sure to check back in 5 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be joined by our friend Joe's Picks. We're going to get into a little early Super Bowl talk. We're going to even talk some Pro Bowl in that episode.
Okay.
We'll get into everything. But all right, guys. Have a good weekend, and we will see you back with Two in the Zone on Monday.